ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite the CEO of Shadi.com, Mr. Gaurav Rakshit. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for Mr. Gaurav Rakshit.
Hello? Oh, awesome. Hi, guys. It's a tough act to follow, quite frankly. Shadi.com going after Amol is... oh, it's an honor. It's a challenge. It's all of that. It's a brand that I grew up with, adore. I give as an example to our marketing team. So thank you very much, Mr. Sodhi, for that. That was quite special. We're a much younger brand. We're different in that we don't feed as many mouths every day as an Amul does. We're a life stage business, right? So you use us and then you move on. We actually celebrate when you move on. We don't hold on to you as a brand. And so it's hard to build a brand that stays in the public consciousness when you're only relevant for a small life stage. I think we've done okay. There's a lot more to do. But what I'm going to try and do is take you through what we do, given that we're a young upstart and still trying to build a brand that matters. What are the few things that we do that seem to work for us? Yeah? So first let me tell you a little bit about Shadi.com. Not everybody knows what scale we operate at. I don't know if this works. No, it doesn't. Okay. All right, so I'm going to be here then. Excellent. So just to give you a sense of how many people we influence, we sign up about 10,000 people every day. And every day we have about 100,000 connections, people talking, meeting, connecting with each other. And 1,000 plus success stories every day. So that gives you a sense of, our scope of influence. It's not huge, but it's not very small also. We're actually at about 1,500 success stories right now per day. Coincidentally, this week we reached our 5 millionth success story on Shadi.com. So it's a big week for us. So we're very proud of that. And that's really the business. There's not a lot more than that. And we still have to be innovative, agile. We got some awards along the way to recognize that. I'll try and talk about how we translate that to being a brand that people care for, because we don't stay in people's consciousness for beyond when they need us. So I'll tell you what we do slightly different. We do have a binding vision, not a brand vision per se, but I don't know if you recall from that last slide. 10,000 people sign up every day. We do 1,000 plus successes, which means that we don't marry every person that comes onto Shadi.com. We just don't. And it keeps us up at night. We try to figure out how to get people married, but this helps. This helps because we understand that we are about the search for a life partner. Of course, we want you to find your life partner, but if you can make the journey as fulfilling, then that gives us a purpose that we can live and deliver every day. Because not everybody is going to get married on Shadi.com, but we can certainly give you the experience that you're looking for. And so you'll see in all aspects of our brand, that's what we go for. And that's what keeps us going. So one of the big things is, the collective love of the people. And Mr. Sodhi was talking about, farmers and consumers. What's worked really for us is these are our people. So all of these are the thousands of people that work for Shadi.com. And we found it to be an incredibly powerful brand tool. Some of it has just evolved on us. They've stuck me there at the bottom if you can see me there. I recognize most of these people, some have moved on. The core of this brand is built on our teams. There's a missionary zeal with which everyone tries to build Shaadi.com, tries to make us bigger. Uh, some of it is by design, some of it we've done well, some of it is just luck. Frankly, we're fortunate to have teams as good as that. But every day they embody what Shaadi.com means to us, makes our brand a little bit stronger. So this really is the biggest constituency for us in terms of what makes our brand special. If we go forward, obviously our secondary pillars of our brand are people that we find successes with, right? They are the biggest ambassadors of Shaadi.com. If you read we get 50, hundreds of these every day, right? And when you see someone saying that, I must say, I've never been happier about any decision in my life. You see someone saying, he won my heart over in a conversation that took 10 hours. That, frankly, is the strongest branding tool that we have available in our arsenal. There are people that come into our offices crying, and suddenly, from what is literally a platform, it's a transactional platform that helps you connect with somebody else, you take on a much bigger meaning. We have cynical young MBA students, I was one such, who join us. Within 3 months of experiencing Shaadi.com and starting to engage with our customers as they come in, they suddenly start to realize that this is so much more. And so as a secondary brand ambassador, our success stories and members on Shaadi.com itself, very, very important. So we treat them with the respect that they deserve. We engage with them a lot, but they really help deepen what is Shaadi.com. Mahesh earlier was talking about word of mouth, most powerful branding source for us. But we're a young company. It's a fairly onerous responsibility to have to carry the weight of a nation on your shoulders. We're young just because the internet is young, and at some level, being Shaadi.com, you are really a trusted advisor to people that find their match on Shaadi. That's the role we play. The advantage of social is that on social we get to be exactly who we are. We get to let people know what makes Shaadi.com. It lets people know why we do this. And so that's a very different form of engagement. On social, we get to be everything about love, life, marriage, relationships. And we don't just engage with match seekers. We engage with everyone. And so it's a very, very powerful tool just because in the match seeking space, key influencers are important. And it also gives our entire team an opportunity to go out and be who we are. I'll give you an example of this in terms of a campaign that went reasonably well. I'll try and explain why it's different. Dowry is a problem in India. I think that it's a social ill that has outlived its, expiry date, quite frankly, but it's still prevalent. And true to form, it's not relevant to most people. It just isn't unless you're looking to get married or someone is looking to get married. It doesn't mean anything to most people. And so the question that we took up is how do you bring it into the public consciousness? So this looks very much like a CSR campaign, right? It's how much dowry are you worth, Shaadi cares, all of that. But that's not the way we operate it. Essentially, a very simple campaign, how much dowry are you worth? You put in, engineer, I make 50,000 a month or whatever the thing is. And then the reveal on this is, we have 50,000 plus dowry deaths a year in India. It shows a calculator, pretends like it's actually calculating how much dowry you're worth, and then it tells you about dowry and the ills of dowry. Fairly simple. What was fascinating about this was when we launched it, and we have a lot of followers, fans, engaged users on Twitter, Facebook, what have you, we just put it out there, right? And people started to get it. We have people that like us. They enjoyed it. They started to write about it. And then some people started to bash us. A lot of people don't go through games and things like that. So there was this whole, how can Shaadi.com put up a dowry calculator? And valid point. And so what happened was first we started defending ourselves. We started writing in, all my entire organization got very affronted with, how can they say bad things about Shadi.com? And then suddenly, magically, our fans started. And at one point, we had our fans telling disbelievers, saying, go play it, you'll know what they're doing, you idiots. And at some point, we just stepped back. And we just watched this entire thing playing out in front of our eyes without participating in it, which was an absolutely magical experience to see our fans defending Shadi.com without us being in the conversation at all. And it really did well. So, because we're marketers, we also look at, hard numbers. We got over 100 million impressions. We got 3 lakh page views just onto that site, which wasn't even part of the game. 183 out of 195 countries, people participated in this. It was quite staggering, actually, what was happening, and we were trending globally for a while. And it gave us a sense of, again, being who we are. That's who we are as a business. We're not going to pick every problem in the world. We're going to try and make a difference our way. And so that's what makes the Shadi.com brand somewhat unique, somewhat special. And that's kind of the way we've nurtured it over the years. Obviously, we'll talk about our member base, right? We have a particularly unique member base. Everybody thinks their member base is unique. But what happens is, especially in the context of marriage, while people can be, very progressive in their outlooks in so many areas of life, when it comes to marriage, they're fairly conservative, or they go back to what they know. And so everybody wants sort of their mera wala cream type of marriage process. And that becomes incredibly hard given that, we've signed up to make that journey as pleasurable for you. So we do have a large number of constituencies. It will take me a long time to describe all of them. So what I'll do is I'll show you some of the key ones and why that's challenging for us to deliver on our promise but still be relevant. Let's look at, this is our biggest constituency, right? Young Indians, no experience with relationship, trying to figure out who to get married to. And sort of, there's awkwardness early on as well. So let me see if we've captured it. Hang on a sec. Right, let's see if this works.
Come, let's dance now.
I can't dance.
You can't dance.
No.
You are the one. What can I say? Smile just for me and just make my day. Come, let's go. Show me the way. Show me the love. It's here to
20 लाख लोगों की तरह मल्हार और तरुण ने भी अपनी कहानी की शुरुआत Shadi.com से की.
Come, find love. Arranged by Shadi.com.
So you'll see a lot of our personality in that ad. Picking up, we're all about real people and real stories. So trying to pick up something that people can relate to. This campaign did exceedingly well. Just people writing to us saying, we love the guy, can't believe he got this kind of a girl. All kinds of, very human responses that came in to us. Also, our use of Chetan Bhagat, which was candidly inspired by the agency, was where if you want to be telling real stories, who do you go to? Probably the #1 storyteller in India. So we took Chetan Bhagat, again a contrarian call. Chetan Bhagat is sort of, people love to hate him and vice versa, and all of that happens. But at that point, he wasn't a TV celebrity, and we didn't want celebrity. We wanted someone that seemed like they were telling stories. So we picked him against sort of, with a lot of opposition, worked exceedingly well, really, really well. In fact, it worked better for us in tier 2 towns where he had very good readership and things like that, which perhaps were just starting to accept Shadi.com. So that's one of the audiences that we deal with, the youth that have no experience. We have this, we have parents who want to help out their kids. And they don't get the Shadi.com way. The Shadi.com way is very much about mutual consent and figuring it out. And parents essentially want to pick up the phone and talk. And that's not very comfortable. So we had to deliver a slightly different service for parents, keeping in mind the way they wanted to do matchmaking, because that journey had to be fulfilling for them. And so, Select Shadi came about. And we got these ultra HNIs also who wanted discretion. For whatever reason, they were not comfortable, they were not able to be public about their match search. And so we brought them in. Uh, I use this slide just to irritate my marketing team because when we put this up first, a lot of members wrote back to us saying, so what is a VIP? Why will he get a young girl? And we were trying to show the dad, right, in the creative. And the beauty of having member bases that are very connected and very vocal is that they will tell you. And so obviously we don't use this creative any longer, but everyone wrote saying, VIP hua to kya hua, ladki itni, sort of, in terms of, why are you guys trying to put a sugar daddy in place? So that was interesting, but it's also, it helps us, because we don't have a very deep user journey to back on because we haven't been around for that long. So every time we break new ground, we really rely on our members to tell us. I'll show you the last segment, I guess, that we address. It's a broad segment. And these are NRIs, and I'll talk a little bit about it and what makes this challenging for us. But first, you guys watch the ad.
Hey, I recognize you from somewhere. Oh, sorry. Look. Hello.
Hi. You alright? Is that your guitar there?
What do you think?
Excuse me, is that the Dylan edition?
Yeah. Are you a fan too?
Hi, I'm Tanya. And I almost missed you.
And the reason I show this film is so much creative dissonance. My marketing team hates it. And my members in the UK love it. They feel like it just represents them somehow. And it doesn't matter what our teams think, as long as our members love it, it's going to keep playing. And there's a variety of things wrong with it. But we do allow members to lead us a lot. The last thing I think I want to talk about is we don't have, so to speak, any sacred cows. And so, 16 years into building a brand, red, yellow, red, orange, green, we figured people are now moving. People don't use Shadi.com for arranged marriage. They kind of come to Shadi.com and they do what they think. So somebody who wants to have a love marriage comes to Shadi.com and says, this is going to be a love marriage. Somebody who comes to have an arranged marriage thinks he's having an arranged marriage. We don't have the ability to set that context in the mind of the user, and that's probably not our place. And so then we tore it down and we started all over. And has gone very well. This is a few years ago. Changed our colors, took a lot of work, a lot of effort. But that's kind of who we are. We're young, but we have our ear very, very close to the ground. And as far as our journey is going, it's working, but it's a work in progress. Cheers. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for your patience.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rakshit.